I don't, being a Christian doesn't mean that I therefore have erected partitions to exclude pagan or Indian thought or later Jewish thought
beautiful.
or Muslim philosophies. It's not. I'm not a doctrinaire person in that regard, and I think actually people who are have misunderstood fundamentally. No, I mean if Christianity is true. And I don't mean if Christianity is true as a system of propositions.
Right.
I mean, if it's the true form of life, it is one that encompasses all truth.
Yes.
It's not a series of disjunctions that are sealing you off from a profane world. Rather, it's a way of seeing the whole of reality that allows you to recognize the light of truth that's infuses all things. And I have no interest, as I said, again, the language of heresy doesn't interest me. Actually, the language of orthodoxy doesn't really interest me very much, except insofar as there are things in the Orthodox tradition, or maybe small o orthodoxy, is that there are aspects of Orthodox tradition which are very precious in guarding against certain evils of the mind, the moral tradition, but also the high Orthodox understanding, Christian understanding, the metaphysical tradition of the ancient and medieval church that affirms that a proper understanding of God's nature is one that cannot be in alliance with the violence and evil of history. Whereas, to that degree, if I say I were to come across a really Hegelian theology in which God is positing himself and forging himself in the fires of history, and so violence is part of the necessary story, at that point I would say, well, heresy is fine if you want to use the word, but I would just say, false. That cannot be true. Whatever is true, that cannot be true.